Hi guys, Trevor Swenson with Through the Darkness. My personal journey with PTSD and trauma and stressor-related disorder. I think I'm going to switch the name of the channel to In the Swamp with Swenson. You find me in one of my favorite places to be. I'm in a cedar swamp right now, tucked up behind a big old overturned cedar. And I enjoy being out in the middle of nowhere. Very safe, very comforting to be in the wilderness and God's creation. What I wanted to talk about today in the Swamp with Swenson, in PTSD Through the Darkness, is the importance of breathing. And as I walk through therapy and as I go through EMDR and the other things that I am following to recover from PTSD, one of the things that comes up a lot is the importance of breathing, and breathing in a very purposeful manner. The interesting thing about breathing, when you think about breathing as far as the brain is concerned, is that it's part of the base of the brain. We don't have to think about it, but at the same time we are able to control it with our thinking part of the brain, with the cortex. It's very unique in that matter. You can't tell your stomach, okay, stop digesting, I don't want to digest that food that fast, or hurry up and digest that food. Whereas with your brain, with your breathing, you're able to change it and to utilize it to benefit how you are feeling. One of the things that I implement that works well for me, and now I understand the science behind it a little bit better, and I know that the Navy SEALs use it as well to help overcome fear. With PTSD being an anxiety-based disorder, and a very serious one, there is a lot of anxiety, which is fear. And so I'm interested in knowing how to control my fear. And one of the things that I do and that I'm asked to do when I'm in EMDR or at a normal therapy session is to get myself in a good place with very structured breathing and paying attention to it. So what I utilize is called box breathing, and I'm going to draw you a picture with my fingers, and that is inhaling for 4 or 5 seconds, holding it for 4 or 5 seconds, exhaling for 4 or 5 seconds, and then holding it at the bottom for 4 or 5 seconds, making a perfect box. So box breathing: inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, and doing that for 4 or 5 seconds on each side of the box. One of the interesting things about breathing that I learned is that the inhale, when you are breathing, is tied to the performance, get ready to fight, flee, or freeze. And the exhale is tied to the parasympathetic, which is the rest and relax. And so what I do when I am doing box breathing, and it really does work, is that I focus very, very intently on my exhale and on the hold of the exhale. One of the ways that I have found that I can tell if I'm really in a good spot or a better spot than I normally am is if I find myself having a very deep involuntary exhale. It's happened to me a couple of times over the last few days to where I've taken this beautiful deep exhale, and it's incredible, and it clearly is tied to the rest and be at peace part of the parasympathetic system, whereas the inhale, if you think about it, when you're about to lift weights or do push-ups or do pull-ups, you take a bunch of real intense inhalations to get ready for the performance part of the day, if you will, or the exercise. So you should try doing that. One of the other things I wanted to talk to you about as well is I noticed myself, and maybe you want to pay more attention to this or try this on your own. See, there's another one. It feels good. You can't make that up. Wasn't planning on that. But one of the things that I've noticed about my breathing is that I have a very, very strict and disciplined morning to try to get my mind in the right place to start the day. And if that is interrupted with me doing something like opening a news app on my phone and going through the headlines, I didn't pay attention to it until I was challenged to pay attention to it. My breathing gets rapid and shallow. That's not good for healing. Rapid and shallow is not good for healing. And if you think about rapid and shallow, it's obviously very close to hyperventilation, which obviously I don't want to be in that situation ever, to be quite honest. But the box breathing, if you pay attention to your breathing in stressful situations, if your mind is clear enough, and sometimes mine isn't clear enough when I'm having a flashback or when I'm thinking about something very stressful, or I am walking into something that is very stressful for me at this particular walk, in my walk with PTSD, and I'm able to pay attention to my breathing, it is not a beautifully symmetrical square of inhale, hold, exhale, hold, inhale, hold. It's not that at all. It's very erratic, it's very shallow, and it also shows up quite obviously when I'm doing EMDR. It's the first thing that the therapist notices, is that my breathing changes while I am back into the bits and pieces of the trauma that I am asked to re-experience. So breathing. Understand breathing, utilize it. When you're laying in bed tonight, try box breathing. If you're sitting at home, try box breathing, and focus on that exhale and that hold, and catch yourself enjoying the deep exhales, because it is just a window into the healing that I know that you and I are both going to experience as we walk through PTSD. Our troubles here are temporary. We will overcome. God loves you. I can't wait. This is Swenson in the swamp. Click subscribe, forward it on to somebody who might be a benefit to this. Can't wait to see you next time.